Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Founder Features. Today, I'm with Marco Benitez. He is the CEO and founder of Rook Motion. He is actually a TaeKwonDo champion turned biomedical engineer turned entrepreneur. So, Marco, why don't you give us a little bit more about your background, introduce yourself, and tell us about Rook Motion?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you very much for your time. I'm super happy to be here. And a little bit about myself. I'm Taekwondo in guy, definitely. I love the sports. I love the fitness industry. It's a dream work in that industry. I am biomedical engineer. Also, I raised and born in Mexico City, now moving to the United States. And before Rook Motion, I was working in big pharma and in the healthcare industry. I was the head of medical affairs for Latin America and part of the United States, working in clinical trials from phase 1 to phase 4, new drugs in oncology, respiratory, and vaccines. And in those days, I identify how much I like to have a lot of information. When you have a lot of information, when you have a lot of data, you can create things, you can improve people's lives. That's the reason, or that's why we create Rook Motion.
That's awesome. And how did your background in Taekwondo influence the creation of the Rook Motion app?
Taekwondo for me was the basis. I think that the perseverance is quite important, the discipline. As a founder, you have to, at the end of the day, be very disciplined. You have to do what you have to do. And it's the same in the sports. So that helped me a lot to understand the way we have to move forward in the startup world. And yeah, and basically, Rook Motion is at the beginning when the name is Rook Motion. Now we change everything to Rook. Before we start in 2019, and Rook began with a heart rate monitor platform that connects coaches and gyms with their end users, but quickly became a search of way to provide a better connection between the apps and the health data as a whole. Was very funny because what we identified in those days was that the end users doesn't want to use another heart rate monitor. They want to use their own wearable, like Apple Watch, Whoop, Aura, Polar, Garmin, and we start to integrate all of those wearables in our own platform. And very quickly identified that as we work to build these connections, we found that our solution solves problems that went beyond the fitness world into the healthcare, fitness, insurance companies, wellness, big pharma, gaming, and other brands, other industries. Basically, Rook Motion is an API first company that enables any brand to use the wearables information. So we live inside every app and provide them with connections with all the wearables in the market. And also we structure the data. Basically, we are a data science company that help to create feedback and insights to the third party apps that normally they integrate us.
And that makes just complete sense to integrate into everything that's already out there in the market because I think it's so easy to create the next fitness wearable and it is very hard to scale that and to get everyone to use it. But if you create this API integration that goes into everything that's already out there, you don't have to change the way that anyone does anything or get them to start using a new product. You integrate with what they're already doing. And so that's amazing. And what else is amazing is that Rook has some really huge news to announce. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, we are super excited. We just raised 1.7 million. We started last year, in fact, and was very tough, was super tough. But now we raised this our pre-seed round, and we are super excited for the next steps. And our investors are amazing. The PCs and the angels are high quality people.
That's awesome. Congratulations. I know how difficult the market is right now. And I just want to say huge congrats as a Techstars employee. I'm extremely proud of you and I'm happy to amplify that message. And I'm excited for other people to hear about it in the future of Rook. So I want to backtrack a little bit. You mentioned your company started around 2019. Tell me about how you got introduced to Techstars, why you decided to join that program, and how that facilitated the process of earning that pre-seed capital?
That's a great question. In fact, we tried to join Techstars like this was our third time. Every single time that we applied to Techstars was an improvement. We receive a lot of feedback and we improve the pitch, we improve the problem, we improve the solution, and all these kind of things. So for us, Techstars, it's like a game changer for us. To be very honest, during the program, we make this pivot because before we have a different business model. So once we join Techstars, we have something called the mentor madness. I think is the most valuable thing that Techstars have. Of course, the network, of course, the give first, everything. But this mentor madness was a game changer because we have a speed dating like with 100 investors. Well, between investors and advisors and everything. And when you tell the story 100 times, you hear yourself, improve yourself, and also they give you a lot of great feedback. And that help us to improve our business model and we make this decision to make this pivot. So for us, Techstars was amazing, is amazing. Still, we have a lot of connections with all these people, great people. And yeah, I think that I'm super, yeah, I don't know how to say that, but thankful to be part of Techstars community.
That's amazing. I have heard so many outstanding reviews of the Mentor Madness process. So I think it's definitely something that the programs are going to continue to execute on. But I do want to ask, you said you applied 3 times. Why'd you keep coming back? There are a handful of founders that apply multiple times, like yourself, and eventually get in. So tell me, what was the feedback that we gave you after the first and the second times that made you decide to come back a third time?
Yeah, I think that this thing that you have of people, the give first, for me was like something that resonated inside me, first of all. Then I have a lot of friends that are part of the community of Techstars, and all of them told me amazing things. That was super helpful for me to identify that this is the kind of program that I want to be part of. I think that was my first intuition. Then when I start to research everything about Techstars and hear all these podcasts and hear Saba Karim, by the way, was a huge, for me was like a good reference to be part of Techstars. He helped me a lot, to be very honest. He helped me to take this decision. I have a couple of calls with Saba, and he guided me during this process. Then, when I start with I think the first one was in Boulder, Colorado. I think this was our first program that we applied. And we received a lot of feedback from in those moments where Andres Barreto, he was the one who helped me to identify my weakness and my challenges and everything. And we start to improve the things. Then we applied to Boston. We have a lot of calls. He helped me to understand the problem, to explain better the solution and everything. And that helped me very, very much. And the third one was in sport tech. We create a very good connection and he understand very well the problem, the solution. But that was thanks to all the feedback that I received before. For me, was super interesting the process because every single time that we receive a rejection was like, man, what I'm doing bad. I need to improve myself. And we start to see all the feedback and improve.
You were in the program or the
Yeah.
pre-program prior to actually getting accepted into the program. So that's awesome. I've heard fantastic things about all of the MDs, especially Andres. He's the one who
Mhm.
introduced us to you and made that connection. So thankful for him and thankful for him that he gave you all the insight that he did. So I'm really happy to hear that. So now you've gotten into the program and you mentioned that during the program is when you came upon the realization that maybe a pivot was in the future for you guys. Can you tell me about what the biggest insight that you had from the program was and what that aha moment was for maybe we're looking at this the wrong way and we should reconsider our approach?
Yeah, I think that the aha moment was with three advisors that we have in the program. When they hear us, all the things that we have in our product, they told us like, man, do you really understand what you have in your hands? You have a lot of endpoints, you have a lot of information. This is something very important. You can maybe create or maybe help another company to understand these data points of the wearables. And I think that was revealed to us. They told us like something like, hey, I want to introduce you with another companies that are in the healthcare industry. Maybe they can help you to understand better what you have. Next is history. I think that was our aha moment, but it was thank you to all these mentors. And also when we have this feedback, we go back with our managing director and they make like, yeah, definitely. Definitely the platform is not a huge thing. The reason that we believe in you is because all the, of course, you as a founder, but also the data points that you already have. This world is around data. And even better when when you understand the data and want to make sense of that information. And we say, okay, let's do it. And just like that, we start to make all these changes inside the startup and we move to this new business model. Was amazing. To be very honest, I remember those days and I feel very with a lot of energy, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. It sounds like basically you got everything out of the program that you could have, which is one of the pieces of advice that a lot of founders give incoming founders is show up and
Mhm.
be present and give to the program what you can as much as you can, because that's the only way that you're going to get the most out of it. So it seems like you really went in full throttle and you were extremely open-minded throughout the process. So kudos to you. Again, it
Thank you.
seems like what you're doing with Rook has a lot of momentum building and a lot of potential. So I want to pivot the conversation a little bit now and ask you some more about the industry of health tech and wellness. And I'd love to just hear your take on biometrics, health and well-being, companies, startups, trends. Where do you see the industry going in the next 2 to 3 years? Because there's obviously been so much dedication to it. I mean, there's obviously the big names like the Pelotons and the Apple
Mhm.
Fitness and Nike Club, but there's also so many other tangential opportunities. So I'd love to hear what you think about those areas.
I think it's super interesting what happened in between the fitness and wellness and healthcare. I think that the approach between each other, it's aligned, I think, because now the healthcare understand that fitness is part to have a healthy, a healthy life. And also the fitness industry understand that the physicians and everything need you to improve yourself also or get better at the end of the day. So the data points and the data science and everything, it's quite important at this point. Just a quick example, the FDA approved the wearables as a medical device. And also you can use the information of these wearables as a medical record in some cases. So the industry in the healthcare, fitness, and wellness are trying to use this kind of information to improve, to unlock a healthier world at the end of the day. So I think it's changing a lot. And after the COVID hits, now the remote monitoring patients, it changed a lot of things. Now the physician, the doctor can see what's happening with the patient. It doesn't matter that you are in the same place. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. You can see if he is in another country, he is in another state. It doesn't matter. You can control what happened. So I think there is a lot of transformation. I think the COVID teaches the best way to understand now the technology and the new type of life that we are looking for. I think it's moving to another place. The Whoop, the Aura, with all this kind of information, the Apple Watch. Now, Apple Watch is very serious with all this information. I tell you this with a lot of passion because I'm super excited what is going to happen. Glucose, now you can monitor glucose level. The big pharma now they can have a lot of data points to improve the drugs. Before, when I was working in the healthcare during the trial, you have to go to different kind of visits, presential visits with the physicians. Now with the wearables, they are moving forward and they are now having this information via remotely. So that's very important. It's moving forward. We are going to see something amazing in the next years, definitely, and be part of this industry. It's quite exciting.
How would you address the gaps between the healthcare physicians and the information that they receive from their patients? Because I think one of the issues is, like you said, in the past, it's been very present based. You have to be in the room with the physician to tell them what's going on with you and for them to really understand. And even then, it's only really 15 minutes of the physician's time for them to ask as many questions as they can and create a diagnosis. How can it become more integrated using, like what you're saying, these wearable devices where there's just so much data that is available to them, but still at the same time, the physicians have to, manage their patients and all the other things that are going on in the office. And so what do you have to say there?
Yeah, we are that tool. We are exactly that tool. We want to help the physicians. We want to improve people's lives. And the only way is to create these insights and give them the information because there is a lot of data in the world. The problem is how to interpret all this data. What we are trying to help to these physicians and also in the fitness industry and in the wellness industry is to give them more information with insights, with predictions. We are a tool for them. This is the way that I take this question, to be very honest. Also, I think that the new generations are using more these wearables and the new medical devices. The new medical devices are quite completely different than before. So yeah, I think that that's the reason that we are here in this moment.
What are three key pieces of advice that you have for founders to find success?
I think the first one is people first. People first, business will follow. If you care about the people that you have in front of you, that connection will help you a lot to go wherever you want to go. Um, the second one is to be very persistent because you will receive a lot of no's during the journey. And we just start, but the fundraising also with our clients during the Techstars program, we received 2 no's before we joined Techstars and was tough. It hurt because at the end of the day, they are rejecting your idea. And then when you are doing the same thing during the fundraising, we were in contact with, I don't know, 300 investors. And only the 4% invest in us. So you will receive a lot of no's. So I think the persistence and be disciplined. And the third one, that's very interesting. Believe in yourself and believe in your team. Because if you believe in what you have and you believe in your dream, you believe in your vision, at some point you will get it. And if you have the right team, you are going to make it. So yeah, people first, discipline and persistent, and believe in yourself and your team.
Those are awesome points. I really appreciate you sharing those. So, one last question that we try to ask everyone is, what would you say to a founder that is on the fence about applying to or joining a Techstars program?
Do it. Definitely, the first of all, you have to do it. I think it's a game changer. You will find a lot of people, super interesting people that has a lot of experience. The managing directors are amazing. All the people that are involved in Techstars, it's people that really want to improve the ecosystem. And also the people that you will find in the same cohort that you are, they will help you and you are going to help them. And at some point, maybe you are going to work together. That's the only thing. So you are creating network over there. And of course, the mentor madness, I think it's amazing, the network, that part. Yeah, I think that all the program for me was a game changer. I will say very good things around Techstars for me. I'm very proud to be part of the Techstars alumni.
We are so happy to have you, Marco. Thank you again for taking the time to chat with me today. I really appreciate it. And I wish you and the Rook team the best of luck.